lot of people don't realize this is, but like your social media growth has a lot to do with what you just said. The type of people that are like, oh, I'm not gonna
Mm,
DM or I'm not gonna do this because it's what's the ROI there? What's the return on investment for me putting in that time to comment or DM? But it's like, then what's the ROI of you having the small talk with your friends? Right? It's
yeah.
that really, really does apply in social media because that's how we are as humans.
Can be an example. I mean, it's similar to this. Like how when
But you see what
kids,
I mean by tying it to a lesson? You see, like I
yes,
just tied it to two different lessons in two different areas of life.
yeah, yeah.
So I want you to do the same. Tie it to a lesson that maybe this is like the thing. Maybe a lot of us we learn some sort of a lesson like this in life, and we think that that lesson only applies in that specific scenario,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't realize that that same lesson actually applies in all these other areas, like leadership, like growing social media, like staying in touch with friends or making friends as adults. Like a lot of us have trouble making friends as adults, and I'm sure because of that reason.
Mm-hmm.
As an adult, everything has to be transactional. Every relationship has to be transactional.
So I'm thinking
I want
about.
you to ask me
Mhm.
questions too, by the way, because I think the best stuff is when you ask me questions like, "How did I come up with that?" or "Why did I think of that?" or
Well,
something.
this is what I was asking myself. How did you come up with that? And then I answered to myself, this is son. He practiced it. He read a lot of books, or he heard some stuff. He talks with people. That's how he knows it. So this is what I ask
Yeah, but
myself.
like I think we should think about like specifically for that this specific example. When did
Okay.
I come up with that?
Oh, okay. So,
I don't know why. When you started talking about how like leaving feedbacks, like in the with your classmates
mm-hmm,
or whatever,
mm-hmm,
immediately I started thinking about like people leaving feedback in circle, right?
okay.
You can kind of see how I got from here to here, right?
Yeah.
Like when you were talking about how in your online university, like leaving feedback or getting involved in the group chat or something like that. You talking about that immediately. What I thought of in my head is like either circle
Mm-hmm.
assignments or like group chat in our Instagram small group leader group chat or something like that. Because there are
Yeah.
people in there that obviously gets involved in the conversations, and there's a handful of people in there who doesn't get involved in the conversation. So immediately my thought went there because I'm in my head I'm thinking like who are the type of people that does get involved in those group chat conversations and who are the type of people
Mm-hmm.
who don't, and who am I? Right? Something like that.
Okay. So I guess for some people it's so natural to engage in conversation, even if it doesn't have
But
certain
you
goal.
can you see how I went from here to here,
Mm-hmm.
like from what you said to like why I
How
thought
did
of circle or IG.
Okay, for that I understand. How did you come up to Simon Sinek? This is where
Well, so let me finish
I'm
this.
not
So
sure.
once I thought of that, I started thinking about where else does that relate to, and for me, it feels very familiar, which is the type of people who engages on those group chats or
Mm-hmm.
circle, like Rosalinda. Those are
Yeah,
also the type of people that also engage on social media, that comments on my posts. Do you understand what I mean?
yeah.
And the people that comment on my posts are the ones that I'm gonna remember and I'm gonna recognize. And I'm gonna, even if they comment something small every day, somebody if the same person comments on every post that I post every single day, even if it's just one line, you do that for 100 days. After 100 days, I'm gonna know you, and I'm gonna know a lot about you just because I know what you comment usually. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no way around that. That's just what's gonna happen, and that's super
Why do you
important in
think
social
people
media.
don't comment? Why do you think people don't comment? Even if
I
why
think
don't
the
they?
same reason why you didn't
So it's
get
that
involved in
selfish
that
reason.
group chat. Yeah,
Okay.
because maybe you feel there's no there's no transaction that comes out of this. Like that's why I said like all the relationships are transactional. But you see how I went from here to the
Mm-hmm.
circle group, and I think the reason why I went from here to here to here is because I guess so many times I realize how those kind of group chats and those online engagement, how it leads to opportunities. Like I've seen it happen so many times that it's almost frustrating for me to watch when I see people who are just getting started and they don't I see them not replying to their comments or DMs or
Mm-hmm.
not getting engaged, not engaging in group chats and stuff like that. When I see people like that, it almost frustrates me. I'm like, this is such a simple thing you can do, and it'll completely change your life if you do it. It'll completely change your business if you do it, right? Kind of like what you were
But
thinking
is
with your.
it also transactional if somebody is asked, like, answering comments, if it's like, great post, I really like how you write it, or another time, yeah,
Yeah,
100% I agree with you. Isn't it also like
that's more of a
transactional?
small talk, right? Kind of like the small talk, like you were saying, like when you have those small talks with your friends, it doesn't even matter what you actually say. It's just the fact that
Yeah,
you're
just the
having that
presence.
conversation. I mean, I think
But
that's
what's
those
that?
are the building
Yeah,
blocks of a human relationship. It's stupid shit like that.
yeah. So I guess someone needs to want that relationship more so they can involve in
Yeah,
stupid
maybe. I mean, every
conversation.
relationship, there's always one party that wants it more than the other.
I mean,
But I don't know why. Like it's kind of. I feel like naturally that's where we need to get to. Where okay, I can kind of see that scenario, and I can see that happening. Um, and then we have to translate it into okay, in what other areas of in our lives. And I think the reason why the lesson is so important is because I used to think like that too. Like I would never engage on social media. I would never get involved in group chats. I would never, you know what I mean?
and
But
now,
over time,
do you?
now I do it. I think it's something like you have to understand the value of it first before you start doing it, right? And
Okay.
people who usually don't do it are probably don't understand the value of it. But
So
how
do
do you?
you?
Here's the thing. One of the
Just when you post a comment,
Mhm.
is it that a comment like a small talk comment, or you actually sit and then like reply on, like, what's your opinion or impression? So how do you
I feel
address that?
like you can address your opinion without having to put a lot of thought into it. Like it can be both. Like you can have small talk and still convey your opinion. I think I think the fact that you're trying so hard to convey your opinion automatically means it's not small talk, right? But the
Yeah.
thing is, even when I'm making small talk, I'm still speaking my opinion. I'm just not overthinking it.
Yeah, but still, I guess there is a difference between 100% great post and this made me think about this and that dot. Um, Also, I was thinking about that, so I kind of, it's kind of cool how you connected these two things. I mean, you needed to
I
kind
don't think
of,
so. I think you can just even when you just comment 100%, that already does something. I think that's already the baseline there is already so much higher than not commenting anything at all. Like the difference between not commenting anything at all and commenting 100% is greater than commenting
yeah.
100% and then two sentences. Like that's a less of a difference than this. Do you understand what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
For the person receiving it too.
Yeah, I guess that in my mind, if I would reply 100%, I would feel like,
It's it's because you're only thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about the other person. That's why.
mm,
I mean, you're already there. It'll literally take you 1 second to comment 100%. So why don't you do it for selfish reasons?
yeah,
Because actually, commenting 100% at that moment would be selfless.
commenting. Yeah, but I have this ego moment that I need to look smart, so I cannot let myself, you know, send such a
But
superficial
okay, so but
comment.
let's talk about this, right? So when I explain the logic to you, say for the person that's receiving the comment, the
Mm-hmm.
difference between no comment at all and a comment that says 100% is more significant than commenting 100% versus like two sentences. That makes sense to you, right? From the person receiving the comment. So now that
Yeah.
that makes sense to you, if I tell you next time you should spend that extra second and comment 100% rather than just skipping it, right? Me just planting that idea in your head right now
Mm-hmm.
because you're going like, oh yeah, I never thought of it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
That idea is going to start growing. And next time when you start browsing Instagram, when you have a chance to just comment 100%, you're going to do it. Maybe not right away, but over time you will, because that seed has been
Mm-hmm.
planted inside your head, right? And
Yeah.
that's how powerful this is. And the same thing is happening when I say something like, like if I tell you, right? If I tell you that you should make small talk, you should make small talk with people, or you should comment 100%, or you should do these small little chit chats. You're gonna be like, what? No, that's stupid. I don't think small talks are helpful at all. It's like, you know what
Mm.
I mean? But then if I say, okay, let me ask you this: do you love your wife? And when was the exact moment you fell in love with your wife? You see how like what happened with your wife it's a progression of small talk, stupid shit that
Mm-hmm.
builds
Mm-hmm.
relationship over time, and that's how every relationship that you've ever built, even at work or whatever it is, built that way, right? And that's why small talk is important. If I say that, that person is gonna be like, "Oh, that's so true. I never thought of it that way," and a little seed has been planted in their head that next time when they're in a conference room, instead of being on the phone, they might put it down and actually be like, "Hey, how are you?" and have that small talk. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, but would you send 100% if it's not 100%, but you kind of 70% agree with
No,
something?
no. Then I would probably just write like, "Yeah, this is true 70% of the time." So I'm still being honest. I'm not like I'm not lying. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay.
But that see, that's what I mean. Like if you are just really just replying with your opinion, it shouldn't take that long.
I don't know. In my mind, it takes a lot of time, but because
No, because then
it,
you're filtering it. You're if it was really your true opinion, it would literally take no time because whatever thought comes, you're just right. That means it's taking time from the idea to your hand and typing it and
maybe your brain is faster than mine. I don't know. But when I read something and I kind of something is not sitting with me well, I kind of then read again, see what is bothering me in this, so I kind of think about that, and then I need to come to the conclusion, and then I can write it down, and if I need to write it down, I have to like make it to, to have my point here and there, so it's kind of, you write and you
yeah.
read
But
and you
not all
write,
posts
right?
are like that. Most posts are pretty simple. That when you read it, you know what it means.
I guess that. Okay. Okay, so I guess that I'm focused on those when I that are triggering me more. So,
Yeah. So comment on all the other ones.
mm,
I'm just saying, like this is what I'm trying to do is like I guess the lesson that I'm trying to say now is I'm trying to come up with the universal example that I can use that'll get somebody to change their mind about engaging on social media. So
Mhm.
once I get to a point where I'm going to turn this into a carousel, I need a specific lesson, and I need a and I maybe that's kind of like a big part where most people fail because I think a lot of people have an idea for something they want to say, but you see how selfish that is. That's just
Mhm.
I want people to know my opinion. I want people to know what I think. That's all that is. That's it's bullshit, right? If you really want to like make something clear, you have to know who you're talking to and what do you want them to know, right? Like what do they not know right now that you want them to know? And once you know those things, two things, then your message become crystal clear.
Mhm.
If I just want to talk about the fact that oh yeah, like small talk is are important, and I think small talk is important in building relationship, like that's okay, good for you, Yelena, but nobody cares. That's just your opinion. Okay,
Yeah.
how you make people care is okay. Now that I know that how important small talk is in building relationships,
Mhm.
in what areas in life do people misunderstand this, and where can I fix how can I fix it, right? What can I say to get them to change their mind? And immediately, in order for me to do that, the next step in my thought process is like, what's an area where I struggle with that same thing, which eventually I ended up learning. I ended up seeing the light, and right away it's things like that. It's like
You
building.
know what? You know
Hmm,
what?
what?
There is difference between small talk
Hmm.
and random comments. I think this is kind of gets where it gets confusing because it my opinion is that on social media you have so many comments that doesn't mean anything. They're just here for some reasons, and it's not even small talk. It's just random, almost random words that somebody. It's not random words, but it's for
Most of
every
the
kind of.
those are not small talk, though. Would you say those are very calculated comments?
Yeah, I mean, you hear advices like comment on
Like if
every
if you see an
post,
emoji that says
engage.
100%, that's actually a small talk.
Yeah,
But
my
if I write a paragraph on my thought on this post, that's not a small talk. And I think those are the most in this genuine comments actually. I much rather get a small talk, or I much rather see a comment that says like, "Oh, this is cool," or "This is so true," or
some
100%,
some these
rather than
comments, these long
rather
comments
than
doesn't.
a paragraph long version of the same exact thing I just said. Basically, like because a lot of people do that, right? They write a paragraph explanation on the same thing I just said in the post.
Okay,
Do you understand what I mean?
okay,
Like to me, that is actually
but
more disingenuous.
what if somebody said like, I really like how you name these concepts, and
Yeah, that's like a small talk.
I was thinking about that. Okay, what
But the
if?
thing is, I'm not trying to dismiss those kind of comments. What I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to point out how important even a unnecessary comment as like 100% is. Like how valuable that is. You know what I mean? And it's just as valuable as your friend
Yeah, I have.
giving you
There's
that bottle of
something.
water. It doesn't seem valuable, right?
Yeah.
Or you having some small talk about some blouse that your girlfriend bought. That doesn't seem valuable. But I'm just saying there's a unmeasured value there, which is human relationships.
There's
Obviously, it's not the
something
same level.
when somebody just say like thumbs up or something. Maybe it's my belief that it's wrong there, but kind of sounds to me like they they don't care about this at all, you know. But if they kind of sit there a little bit and then they reply, it means that they cared about
I
it.
know, but you. So what would you do if
So
somebody did a thumbs up?
so my impression is that there's so much comments like that people commented just because they calculated that they should have these kind
Yeah,
of
but those are usually
engagement.
not the thumbs up comments. The one when you see a thumbs up, when do you usually see thumbs up? Probably
I
from
mean,
people you know.
yeah.
I think you're like you're overthinking a little bit. Like I'm just saying it as simple as like if somebody if somebody gives you a thumbs up over there's no comment at all, the person who gave you a thumbs up will you'll remember that person more.
Mm,
Is all I'm saying. And you do that for 100 days, that makes a difference, right? And that's how human relationships work. That's all I'm saying.
yeah.
It can even be as simple as me seeing your face with Yelena username next to it, giving me a thumbs up every single day. Every
Hmm.
single day I see that thumbs up from you. That's a reminder of Yelena every single day for 100 days. And after 100 days, you better believe I'm going to remember you versus somebody who didn't do that for 100 days.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Hmm. So I need to engage in small talk online. Okay.
But I know it took a while to get there. But what I was trying to say is, this is why I think it's so important for us to have learned the lesson first
Mm,
before we teach other people. So, yes, you learned the lesson in one area. Now, you need to think about, okay, and who am I talking to, and what do they not know that they should know,
hmm.
right? And I guess more importantly, in order to get the result that they want. So, for example, if you're going to talk to somebody who says, I don't care about friends, I don't need any friends, I got enough friends," right? No matter what you say, it's not you're not going to change that person's mind. Am
Hmm.
I right? So obviously, that's you're not talking to that person, but maybe you're talking to the person who is like you, where they don't get involved in group chats, they don't do small
Hmm.
talk, and they're like, I don't like small talk, right? But at the same time, they're also having trouble making friends as an adult because maybe they moved to a new city, so they don't know anyone. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you have a specific person that you're talking to, and now you know what that person doesn't know and how you can help that person, right? And now, because I know that that person doesn't like small talk and they think small talk is invaluable, I have to tell them a story or I have to give them an example of how small talk is not invaluable, how they are valuable. And it's the thing that's getting in the way of you meeting friends as an adult, right? So you see, just
Yeah.
by knowing who I'm talking to and what problem I'm trying to solve, now I can come up with a clear lesson and clear example. But for me, like I'm not even doing that. I think what I'm doing is okay, based on what you just told me, where else in my life have I learned that lesson too? And the two place that comes to mind is that, right? Like in my agency, right? It's just us being in that same room every single day, having lunch every day and having those conversations every single day. That's not related to work at all. Is what
Hmm.
created the culture of Night Owl. It's not us going on retreats or team bonding exercise, none of those things. And also another area is when I went on social media, because I've actually made content without engaging on YouTube before, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I actually got on social media, I started engaging with people and started making those small chat with people. What ended up happening is I got on the radar of some of these influencers. Do you understand me? So I started talking to them, and it's like, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is that's why on social media the engagement and small talk is so important.